Welcome to today's vlog. My name is Kimana. It is Monday Fun Day and it's 12:45. I'm on the phone with Mom, eating pizza, drinking chocolate milk, and then these Mountain Dews. And I am on the internet. I am on Gold Medal Flowers website, and I am reading about their history. It is quite interesting. So we're educating ourselves about Gold Medal Flower. Why? Because there's a building in downtown Minneapolis that says Gold Medal Flower, and I wanted to know more about the building. So we're learning about the company as well as the buildings, which the building in downtown Minneapolis is their second building, because the first building unfortunately got destroyed by a flower dust explosion. Yeah, we're learning about their history. Why? Because I'm interested. So that's how today is starting. It is almost 2 p.m. now, and I have a serious question. What the fluff is Minneapolis's old obsession with flour mills? Or whatever. There's something similar to that. Like, what? Apparently there was more than one? Like, I am aware of the Gold Medal Flower sign, but also, Pillsbury was across the river? Like, what? I had no clue. What? So you got Gold Medal Flower started in 66, I think? I think it says 66. Original building, 1866, on the river, was doing 840 barrels of flour a day. 1878, building blew up, rebuilt a new one in 1880. It's like, all right, cool. Apparently people were like, nah, this one's too big. You can never make that much flour. And then, on the other side of the river, Pillsbury Mill just was like, you know what? We gonna do that ish too. Say less. And apparently, construction was completed in 1881. And I'm just like, and apparently, Pillsbury continued making flour until 2003 or some shit like that. While Gold Medal Flour moved somewhere else or got bought by General Mills and started making shit somewhere else. What? Like, and apparently, whatever I was reading was just saying that those weren't the only two that were built on the river. Like, what? Oh my god. Are you fucking serious? Okay. Pillsbury Mill. Washburn A Mill, which is the Gold Flour Mill. There's a sawmill in 1821. Okay. 1823 had a grist mill, whatever grist is, Grist, was a major sawmill center from 1880 to 1930, and had the largest flour production in the United States. In 1881, a third Central Station hydroelectric plant was built. Crown Roller Mill, okay, had the third highest flour production at the falls. Why is so much flour being made there? So, Falls of St. Anthony, Falls of St. Anthony Apron, Hall and Dan Barrel Company. There was a barrel company there. Another hydraulic plant, another hydraulic station, train. North Star Woolen Mill. Doesn't say what type of mill that is, but another mill. Northwestern Milling Company. Doesn't say what type of mill that is, but another milling company. Then the entire Pillsbury Mill complex, and then the Washburn Crosby and Company Mill, which included the Gold Medal Flour Mill. What? House, flat, house, tenement, duplex, flat, house, factory, island, sash, and door factory. Okay, random. Post office, Old Main Street, a church, the Pillsbury Public Library, all in this little area. This whole area apparently has been labeled the St. Anthony Falls Historic District. Why was there so much flour being made in that area? Like, what? And like, if you look on Google Maps and you zoom in to Minneapolis and you find what you're looking for, here's the area. So this right here is one of the mills. This right here is the pin for the gold medal flower sign. Yup, that one right there. And then if you take your happy ass from the gold medal flower sign, which is right here, and you zoom out a tiny bit, you still see it pinned there, gold medal flower. Look what's up here. Pillsbury A Mill. Just across the river. Which that one was turned into condos or some shit. It's an apartment building now. But like, why? Why? If they had said, you know, gold medal flower was in Minneapolis and Pillsbury, you know, they started somewhere the fluff else, I'd be like, all right, cool, fine. But no, multiple mills, at least 3 or 4 of them listed being flour mills within the same area. What in the world was going on in Minneapolis in the late 1800s for them to be like, flour? What? Oh my goodness. They were just like, flour, more flour, more flour. Is that like, that's got to be like, what the fuck is that dude's name? I feel like the flour production in that area was just somebody standing there like it was that era's another one. Like DJ Khaled just going, another one. And they're just over there like, flour mill. Another flour mill. I want another flour mill. Give me more flour mills. Okay. Why? Why was it so compact into one tiny area? Like, I'm not surprised that there's like half a trillion different companies that make flour. That's not the part that surprises me. The part that surprises me is that there was 3, 4, or more all right there. That's the part that I'm like, what? Why did everybody just decide Minneapolis was the place to make flour? And a part of me wants to Google that, but I need to be in bed. I need to be in bed in 3 minutes. I've already gone down this flour rabbit hole enough. Are you fluffing kidding me? At the industry's peak, more than 20 stone flour mills stood along the curved canal. 20! That's not 2. That's a 2 with a 0 and no period between it. 20. All right, when the Washburn A mill reopened in 1880, 2 years after the catastrophic explosion, it was the most technologically advanced and the largest in the world. At peak production, it grained enough flour to make 12 million loaves of bread in a day. What the fuck? This level of production was unheard of, as most of the mills were still smaller operations serving the towns and cities in which they were located. I was supposed to go to bed 4 minutes ago, but I had the audacity to type into Google, why? Why? In 1900, only 5% of bread consumed was bakery made. By the time the U.S. entered into World War I, bakeries were making 30% of the nation's bread. What the fuck? Okay, well, that's interesting. The Washburn Crosby Company merged with 28 other mills and was renamed General Mills. Eventually, in 2001, General Mills bought Pillsbury, finally uniting Minnesota's 2 largest flour manufacturers. So after World War I, the milling industry in Minneapolis began to decline, leading the mills to move to cities better suited to process Canadian wheat. And in 1930, Buffalo was producing 200,000 more barrels than Minneapolis. And then it moved out. The mills moved out. Many were abandoned. The Washburn A mill closed in 1965, and the Pillsbury A mill was the last riverfront mill to shut down in 2003. I need to go to bed. Here's an entire website about this history of Minneapolis. And that was just one little section dedicated to the flour milling boom in Minneapolis from 1880 to 1930 until Buffalo started selling more and became the new flour mill capital of the world. I clicked on timeline and the first thing that I see is 10,000 BCE. Oh my goodness. Okay, I should go to bed. It is 2:19. I was supposed to go to bed 19 minutes ago. I really need to stop reading about mills in Minneapolis, as well as the history of Minneapolis. But hey, I enjoyed learning about that. What is the random rabbit hole that you dove headfirst into today? 'Cause mine was about the flour mills in Minneapolis. What was the rabbit hole that you dove headfirst into today? Leave a comment, and maybe I too will dive headfirst into whatever topic you chose to learn about as well. Flour mills in Minneapolis. Why was that today's adventure to learn about? Like, I'm not upset about it. It was very interesting. I enjoyed it. I'm just like, out of all the things, all the hundreds of trillions and quintillions of things that I could have chose to learn today, flour mills in Minneapolis. And now I want to know, what is the flour mill of the world now? Is it still Buffalo? Or has it moved from Buffalo since? But I will not be picking up my phone to find out that right now. And maybe when I edit this video, I will remember to look. But I need to go to bed. 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 But maybe when I wake up, I will remember to look up where the flour mill of the world, the flour capital, flour mill capital, or whatever of the world is right now, and see if it is still good old New York City. No. Buffalo. Not New York City. Buffalo. What a weird rabbit hole. That's whatever. I'm going to bed. Yeah, I'm going to bed. Night. Okay. I am awake. Get off of my face. All right. I'm awake. It's 10 something. It is 25 degrees outside, and I've had the AC on in the truck all night. And out from under this blanket, it is very cold. I do not want to get out from under the blankie, but I gotta get up and get ready for the day. For whatever reason, I woke up at 8 and then wasn't able to go back to sleep. So that was annoying, but beyond that, I slept well. At this point, I am going to get up and I'm going to turn the heat on in the truck because it's cold. Yeah, I'm going to turn the heat on in the truck, and warm the truck up while I am getting ready for the day. Let's go ahead and do that and edit the vlog. Yes. Alright, apparently it's been like 2 minutes, and can you chill out? It's hot. You haven't even been on for 2 minutes. It's fucking hot. The only thing that's cold is the floor. That's hot. We're turning the heat off already. Anyways, let's start editing the vlog. Alright. With a stretch. It is 12:30. The vlog is finally done being edited and is actively rendering. Well, you shouldn't be surprised that I find that fantastic. Yeah, we were supposed to leave like 30 minutes ago, and I haven't gotten any type of dressed at all. I am going to spend the next undisclosed amount of time because I have no idea how long it's going to be. Probably less than an hour. Getting dressed for the day. I also saw the weather said that there was supposed to be snow, and now it tells me there's going to be snow in 19 minutes. Fantastic. But yeah, I am going to accidentally cover up camera, get these two charging cords off of the ground because I keep stepping on them and they keep annoying me. But yeah, we're going to get up, get dressed, get ready to bounce, let the vlog do its thing, and listen to music. Speaking of, I'm going to turn the radio up. There's no way to... so that I can listen to the song, because the song is Zat Fuego Fire. If you're interested in what this song is, it's called Something in the Orange by Zach Bryan, and it's the E and E's version of the song. Z and E's version of the song. So, but this one is indeed Zat Fuego Fire, so I'm going to listen to it. I'm also going to plug my iPad in because the charger for the iPad got unplugged at some point, and the iPad didn't charge last night, so let's plug it in, listen to music, get ready, wait for the vlog to finish rendering. Yes. All right, 12:42. Yes, it is 12:42 at night. in the evening. 12:42 in the evening. I don't know why that was so difficult to put together. But yeah, it is 12:42 in the evening, and I just paid something off. Yes. I'm actually very happy about that. That is one less monthly payment. Yes, it's one less monthly payment, which is exactly what I need. That should save me close to $200 a month. Yes, indeed. Close to $200 a month. So that's very helpful. Progress is being made. Now, we just need to do that same thing several more times. Mom ended up mentioning something yesterday about, she said something about someone, or Trump or whatever, said something about us getting like 5 to 7 grand or some shit, which I'm like, what? Why? But she was saying that was like supposed to happen or something. She was talking about something like that, and I was like, I know exactly what I'm gonna do with that 7 grand, and that is put new tires on the Jeep. Put new tires on the Jeep, get a new battery in the Jeep, and then, as much as I don't exactly want to sell it, because I don't exactly want to sell it, but I thought I needed it, and then I decided to change what city I wanted to move to, and now I don't need it. I don't want to sit here and say that it was a bad idea, even though I think a lot of people disagree with me. Yeah, I don't want to sit here and say that it's a bad idea, even though a lot of people disagree with me and said that was a very stupid idea. But I'm going to stand by my thought that the plan was to move to Denver, and they have a big problem in Denver when it comes to vehicles being stolen. So I bought the Jeep with the intention of putting a removable steering wheel in it, and the fact that it's a manual, and putting a 5-point harness in it as well, instead of the normal seatbelt that it has. I was intending on putting all of that in it and moving to Denver, and then I ended up switching companies and ended up going over the road, and then I ended up driving through Minneapolis. And at that point that I drove through Minneapolis, I had already completely written Minneapolis off because of I want some place to go snowboarding. At the time that I bought the Jeep, I was like, I'm going to Denver. I'm moving to Denver. That's where I'm going. I'm going to Denver. So I bought that vehicle, preparing to go to Denver, and preparing that there's a possibility that my car would be stolen, and if it was stolen, what am I gonna do? That's right, I'm gonna drive my other car that is not only doesn't have a steering wheel, because I keep the steering wheel in the house, but also is manual, which is another deterrent anyways, because a lot of people don't know how to drive manuals anymore, but I know how to drive a manual. And if you're gonna steal a car for something, for easy, you got to make it easy. And it's not easy to steal a car that's, first of all, manual, and second of all, doesn't have a steering wheel. So at most, I think they would open the door, break the door open or whatever, and see that there's not a steering wheel and be like, man, fuck that. But even if they were like, you know what, I don't care about there not being a steering wheel, we could just put a pair of pliers on it and drive with a pair of pliers, then they'll be like, oh, it's a manual. Never mind. That was my intention, and if I was still planning on moving to Denver, I'm sorry to all the people that disagree with me and think that it was a very stupid decision. That's still the best decision. That was what I thought the best decision was, and if I was still planning on moving there, it's still a good decision. However, things have changed. I no longer want to go to Denver. I want to go to Minneapolis. Minneapolis doesn't have a problem with stolen vehicles like Denver does, and at this point it is just a vehicle that is not needed, that is wasting my money, unfortunately. Now, like I said, if I was still planning on moving to Denver, I wouldn't be saying that, but things have changed. Yeah, I drove through Minneapolis and I was like, ooh, we're in Minneapolis. That's cool. I haven't been in Minneapolis probably for 9 years, 8 years. I think it was closer to 7 or 8 years at the time. I was like, I haven't been here for a fat minute. I like Minneapolis, but I wouldn't want to move there because there's no place to snowboard. And I'm just cruising and I'm like seeing signs on the highway, and the signs are on the highway. It says something about snowmaking in progress, roads could be snowy or something like that. And it was flashing and I was like, huh, that's interesting. So I kept driving, and lo and motherfucking behold, over here on this side of the fucking highway, I was driving north, so this is the west side of the entire interstate. Big old giant massive snowboarding skiing resort making snow that evening, and the highway was covered in snow in that area. It wasn't covered in snow anywhere else, but it was covered in snow in that area. And I was like, there's a snowboarding place here? Okay, rearranging the list. Minneapolis is now at the top of my list. So, anyways, I don't think the Jeep was a bad decision. I just think that it is unfortunate that it has gone the way that it has gone, but it is whatever it is. It's not the end of the world. Point is that the conversation with Mom was talking about something that Trump was supposed to do. Not that I care about Trump at all. I don't. But if he's gonna slide me $7,000 for whatever fluffing reason, I'm not gonna say no to it. And I'm gonna use it to fix the tires on the Jeep and fix the battery on the Jeep because the battery is dead, and then go ahead and pay it off enough to sell it. And that would save me almost $500 a month, I think, which would be very helpful. But, you know, the decision to get that Jeep at the time, I disagree with everybody. It wasn't a bad decision. The plan just didn't work out the way that I was thinking. I'm pretty sure everybody that I talked to was like, no, don't. And I was like, no, this is why. And they were like, don't. I don't know. That's one of those things that, like, I feel like everybody disagreed with and was like, no, that's a stupid fucking decision. Don't do that. That's stupid. That's a waste of money. You don't need to do that. I felt like it was necessary. And even though the plan did not go as planned, I don't see it as a stupid decision. It's more of a, you know, the plan changed unexpectedly and it changed things. So, but yeah, anyways, Mom was talking about us getting basically another stimulus check, except for it's not, I don't know, except for it's like $5,000 to $7,000. And I was like, we could get rid of the Jeep with that, save some money. Like, the Jeep had a purpose to serve. It was going to serve its purpose, but then situations changed and its purpose disappeared with that change in the plan. So even though I don't want it anymore because it's just not needed, you know, doesn't mean that I think it was a bad decision, even though everybody told me no. Because I don't think it was a bad decision. It had a purpose. It had a very useful purpose. You know? It wasn't like, oh, let's get this to fuck around and have fun in, and I didn't have money to spend on something to get and fuck around in. its purpose, it had a purpose. And at the time, I was making more money than I do now, until they decided to cut my pay because they decided to cut everybody's hours. And when they cut everybody's hours, they cut my pay anywhere from like $30,000 to $40,000. Yeah, they unexpectedly cut everybody's hours for no damn reason, and that resulted in a $30,000 to $40,000 decrease in pay, which is obviously why I don't work with that company anymore. But that's also why it's kind of difficult to cover bills, you know, because I made decisions based on that amount of money that I was getting paid for a little over a year, just for things within the company to change, and them deciding that they don't want to pay their drivers for 60 to 70 hours a week, so they're not going to allow their drivers to work 60 to 70 hours a week. And they pushed everybody down. Well, not everybody, because there was a bunch of people that were there that only wanted to work 40 hours. You know, they only really wanted to work 40 hours. They didn't want to work much more, and blah, 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 and all that fun stuff. But there was another group of drivers, me being one of those drivers, that, you know, we have a 70-hour clock. My job is to be a truck driver. Part of being a truck driver is working 60, 70 hours a week. I didn't become a truck driver to only work 40 hours a week. Part of the deal is working 60 to 70 hours a week. That's part of the deal. So me and a bunch of other drivers that were there to use our clock, we had a 70-hour clock. We wanted to use our 70-hour clock. And we were getting paid for using our 70-hour clock every single week. And we were making a lot of money. And then management changed within the company, ownership changed within the company. They changed a bunch of policies and changed how they wanted to run the company. And that resulted in the drivers like me who wanted to use our entire clock every single week. You know, that resulted in us getting told by management, not like upper management, but the management directly above us, getting told by management directly above us, like, hey, we were complaining about the pay situation. And they were like, well, we're working it out. We're trying to work with everybody and like blah, 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 which was a lie. The managers directly above us were told, reduce everybody's hours, and they didn't want to tell us that that's what they were doing. Which I think is the dumbest thing ever. Because, and this is why I think it's the dumbest thing ever. You're a trucking company, okay? You have a long list of loads that need to be delivered and moved throughout the area on a daily basis, right? And you decide that it is cheaper to hire your own drivers instead of paying for outside carriers to take your routes for you because it costs less money. So you hire drivers. And then, after however many years, you decide that you don't want to work those drivers that want to work the amount of time they're allowed to work. So you reduce all of their hours down to 40 or 50 hours a week. And it's like, okay. And it's like, they're trying to save money. And it's like, okay, that kind of makes sense. But here's where that falls apart. You have the same amount of routes, but you're refusing to give them to all of your drivers, especially the drivers that want hours, because you want everybody around 40 hours. So now you have too many loads and not enough drivers because you're not utilizing your drivers correctly. And now you've gotten back to a point where you need outside carriers to take your loads for you. So they're paying outside carriers to come into the company to pick up loads that we as company drivers used to take and deliver them. And here's the part that makes it really, 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 really stupid. Paying me like 30-ish an hour or however much it was on overtime. So that would be 45-ish, 50-ish an hour, however much it maths out to be. You know, you guys pay me 50-ish dollars an hour, give or take a bit, to drive a load that takes less than 14 hours. It's like, okay. So you sit there and you're paying me overtime and you're paying me $50-ish an hour, and I work from 10 to 14 hours. So that's like $600 or however much, $700 or however much just in overtime pay. And yeah, that's a lot of money. $700 per driver per day for overtime is a lot of money. I'm not going to say that it's not a lot of money, but here's the problem. They decided to give these loads to outside carriers, and they went from paying the company drivers overtime $600 to $700 to paying outside carriers $2,000 to $3,000 to cover these loads. Where does that make sense? How does that make sense? You reduce your company drivers' hours to try and save money, and then turn around and give those same loads to outside carriers, paying them double, if not triple, what you were paying your company drivers while they were in overtime. They had the same amount of loads. They had the same loads going out. Every load that the company drivers like me did not take, they had to pay for an outside carrier to take for double, if not triple or more, the price that it actually was. The price that they would have actually spent to let their company drivers take care of it. And their whole thing was, we're trying to save money and it's just confusing to me, because it's like, I understand that you're trying to save money, but your solution to trying to save money is using outside carriers, which is costing you 2 to 3 times more than it would if you would just utilize your company drivers the way they want to be utilized. I was not the only one that said, I don't want to work 40 hours. I want to work 60 or 70. I was not the only one. There was like 5 or 6 of us that wanted to work 60 to 70 hours every single week. Give us our loads, leave us alone. We'll do what we need to do as long as we get our hours. And it's like, they could have continued to give those drivers those hours and there would have been no problem. Honestly, if they were still giving me those hours, I'd still be working at that company. But I don't get it. I don't get it. I really don't understand. Like, we're trying to save money, so what we're going to do is to pay you guys less, but pay somebody else more to do it. Like, how is that saving money? Like, you're still paying for the insurance on the trucks, you're still paying for the insurance on the drivers, you're still paying for the insurance on the load and your own trailers, because most of the time the loads are still in your own trailers. You're paying for the fuel for the truck anyways. You're paying for the fuel for the trailer anyways. You're paying for the driver anyways. I fail to see how they genuinely believed that they were saving money. Like, honestly, what I think is what happened is that, you know, the ownership of the company changed from the father or grandfather to the children. Yeah, the ownership for the company changed, okay? So it went from either the grandparent or the parents, and it went to their whichever one it was, you know. And those individuals sat down, took over the company, and looked at everybody's pay, and sat down and looked at everybody's pay, and saw that there was half a dozen truck drivers making $100,000 to $130,000 a year, most of it in overtime, and they were like, nah, we can't have that. So they chose to reduce the drivers' hours just to give the loads to other people to save themselves $30,000, $40,000 per driver for 6 drivers, not every driver, just 6 drivers. So that saved them, what, $300,000-ish a year in drivers, just in drivers' pay, just to turn around and spend $600,000 to $900,000 on outside carriers. The math just doesn't math. I don't know why they decided it was a good decision. It pissed me off, obviously. Like, every day, every week, begging them, like, give me more hours or I'm going to leave. And then I get a bullshit excuse every single day and they don't give me more hours, and it's just like, you're pissing me off. Like, you guys spent a year or more paying me over $100,000 a year. So I made decisions based off of that payment amount. and then you guys decide to cut my payments by like 30 or 40% and put me in a fucked situation and then say, too bad, so sad. We're not giving you more hours. Like, I know it's not exactly their responsibility to pay my bills, but I'm working there for them to pay my bills. And they showed for over a year that they were paying their drivers who wanted to work a certain amount of money. And then they said, you know what? Fuck you, fuck that. And didn't give a singular shit how that affected any of the drivers. And we're like, well, you shouldn't have made decisions based off the amount of pay that you were getting paid. It's like, that was their excuse, which is bullshit. You spend an entire year giving me, 20, 30 hours of overtime every single week, and then you take it away and then tell me that that's my problem and my fault. That's not my fault. And like, I wasn't the only driver. Fair to say that company lost every single one of their really good drivers. Yeah, all of them. Every single one of them. And the manager has the audacity. Well, why? Where are you guys going? Somewhere that'll actually pay us. Somewhere that'll actually pay us. Someplace that'll actually allow us to work the hours we want to work. Someplace that hopefully does not cut our pay by, 30 to 40%. Like, I made what? I think it was $101,000. And they changed shit, and in kind of near the middle August-ish. And since they changed shit in August-ish, I went from, being on track to like 120 or 130-ish thousand to 101,000. And then the next year, like, I worked that whole year, got 101,000. Or however, 100-something thousand, or whatever it was. They were paying me that much. And then the next year, all the way up through August, was looking on par to 130, 120, just for them to change policies in August to stop me at 101. Then for the following year, I didn't even get 80. Yeah, I didn't even get $80,000. Which I know I'm bitching about a lot of money, but like, I just wanted to, I'm a truck driver to drive. I like driving, I enjoy driving, I want to drive. This has been a massive fucking rant that was not needed. I don't know. Oh, that is not good. I'm missing a piece of paperwork. There's a massive side rant. I feel like I've been going on for 20 minutes. The point is I made decisions off of that amount of pay. The company decided to change how they were paying their employees. I was no longer getting that amount of pay, and it's created problems. And for the last, 2 years, we have been trying to get back on track from those problems because, well, those decisions lasted several years, especially with the car payment. That Jeep isn't supposed to be paid off until 2028, The point is that it was bullshit. It pissed a lot of people off, me included. Got several of us in shitty situations because of it. They were like, well, you shouldn't expect that amount of money. And it's like, I'm a truck driver. You're supposed to utilize me. It'd be different if I was just like, I don't know, a custodian or some shit, and I just got a bunch of overtime for a while. But I'm not a custodian. I didn't just get just a bunch of overtime for a while. I am a truck driver. I am supposed to work for, up to 70 hours a week. And that is what I expect. That is why I went to that company. I didn't choose a company that said, hey, we'll work you 40 hours a week. There was several of them that I scrolled past that says, oh yeah, average hours about 40 hours a week. But no, I specifically chose that company because they said, 60 to 70 hours a week, which is what I wanted. I'm getting closer to paying things off from the decisions that were made during that amount of pay, And it's not like, oh, I got this amount of money like 1 week or 2 weeks or even a month. Like, no, I got that amount of money for over a year. And it was the reason that I chose that company. But it just became a problem when ownership changed. Still trying to work on getting back on track from that particular situation. It is whatever it is. It is the 11th. Yeah, it just is whatever it is. And we're working on it. We're doing good. We're, getting through it, getting shit taken care of. I mean, this whole entire rant started from me saying that I finally paid something off, which is a good thing. Now, should it have been paid off already? Absolutely. And would it have been paid off way sooner if I'd still be working at that company and they were still paying me what they were paying me? Absolutely. But shit changed, and not in my favor. And we're just trying to work on through it. So we're getting there. And I'm happy that we are getting there. I am going to keep an eye on that account, because I wouldn't be surprised if they were like, oh, here's an extra amount of money because, oh, you just paid us off? Well, you owe us a little more money because, I don't know, taxes on the final amount that were issued at the payoff time. Something stupid like that. I don't remember. It's probably going to be something stupid like that. So I'll probably owe them like $100 more or less once they finalize all of that and get that taken care of. But if that doesn't come through and they're like, yeah, no, you're done. You paid everything off. It's paid off. We are almost completely done with this particular account. This particular account was my laser hair removal. So that's finally paid off. I just made the payment while I was sitting here getting dressed. So I am happy about that. And like I said, that saves me about $200 a month, which is very good. Very, very good. One less thing for me to have to worry about. Now, we can move on to the next thing. Now, what is the next thing? I haven't decided yet. Have not decided yet. But there's plenty of things that need to be paid off, so we'll just kind of work our way through them and see which one is what we do next. Anyways, it is 1:27. I need to brush my teeth and shave my face. Alright. The truck is all pre-tripped up. I didn't find any issues. The vlog is uploading. Yes, the vlog is uploading, and we have a 38-mile drive ahead of us. So let's go ahead and get on this drive. Alright. We are here at the yard. The drive here was fine. The vlog is almost uploaded. It says it has another 5 minutes, which is fantastic. The drive here was uneventful, kind of. I mean, there wasn't really anything going on, but there was definitely snowy roads. So, kind of eventful, kind of not really at all. I dropped you. I did not mean to drop you, but I dropped you. There we go. No, that didn't work. Come on. Go back there and stay back there, and don't come back out from back there. I really should just take this cord and completely unplug it because it's broken and move it out of the way, but clearly, why did you fall? Clearly, I didn't do that. We got all that situated. Vlog says 95% 4 minutes, so it is changing. Computer is not frozen, which is amazing. The truck says it needs about 100, but that's 100. That'd be 150, so it needs like 125-ish. We're gonna go ahead and fill it on up. Yes, indeed. So let's do that. All right, for whatever reason, the pump is pumping ungodly slowly, so I need my coat. Yeah. It thinks it's at full speed, and that's how slow it's going. And it's been going like this for several minutes now. And I need 120 more of those. So I need gas. I'm not gonna go somewhere else. I'm not gonna try and restart it. I don't care. I would literally stand here and wait for it to go through all of this. That's where I'm at right now. If it's gonna pump slow, then it's gonna pump slow, but it's still pumping, so, and I need the diesel anyways. So, however long it takes is however long it takes. Okay, I could only stand 11 gallons before I went over there to restart it. Apparently I do care about how long it took. I was getting bored and annoyed, so it pumped 11 gallons, and I was like, I'm gonna have to wait for it to get up to 125, and it's been like 5-10 minutes to get to 11. That's gonna take absolutely forever. I finally did decide to actually restart it, and it's at 29 gallons already. So all right, we dropped our trailer, which was perfectly fine. There was no issues with it. When we went through the shop, I did go ahead and clean my passenger side window and mirror, as well as the 2 hood mirrors. And I also decided to clean the driver's side window and these 2 mirrors here. I did not really do anything with the windshield because, well, the windshield's fine. Yeah, the windshield's fine. The problem was the passenger mirror and passenger window. I couldn't see out of it, so went ahead, got that cleaned up, and I can see perfectly out of it, which is amazing. At this point, I need to go and check out of this facility, and we have a 200-mile drive to the first location. Apparently, I also need to fix my hair, so let's go ahead and take this coat off because it's hard to move, and go ahead and check out of this facility after I fix my hair. All right, hair and outfit has been fixed. I hung the coat up over here on this side. We're going to check out of this facility, and we got a 200-mile drive, so let's get on it. Okay. After successfully making a giant mess everywhere, we got water all over the place, but I had a frozen water bottle, and I tried to cut it open and let the water dump into my water bottle, and then cut it open the rest of the way and dump the frozen part into my water bottle, and that resulted in water getting absolutely everywhere. So there's water everywhere, but we got it done. Finally, let's check out of this facility and go on this 200-mile drive. There we go, that's better. You had something sticky on your face, so went ahead and cleaned that off, but it didn't want to come off at first. So, but we are here at the first location. This particular location gets 10, and it is 7:31. Yes, indeed. So I'm gonna fill out all of this, and then I'm gonna call them, let them know that I'm here, and then we're going to go ahead and go inside and get this 10 unloaded. And I have to go to the bathroom, like very, very badly. So go ahead and get in there. Oh yeah, I had to put my coat on earlier because it was 20-something degrees, and it said that it felt like 9 degrees. It's 26 here, feels like 17. I think we're gonna try and leave the coat in here. Yeah. Yes, indeed. Don't fall out. All right. We are done here. Yes, we are. All was good, no issues. And as always, I'm happy about that. And we're walking back to the truck. Gonna go ahead and get on in there and start making our way to the next place after we fill out some paperwork and not hit myself in the head with it. All right, it's 8:09. We're in the truck. All is done at this location. All is also good at this location. I do need to end today's vlog and start the next one since it is 8:09 in the a.m. So I'm gonna thank you guys for coming. I hope that you enjoyed. If you did, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe. If you keep coming back, why not go ahead and hit the bell so that you can get notifications every single time that I upload. If you are interested, you can also scroll down just a little bit further and take a gander at the description. There you can find links to my Twitch, my Discord, my other YouTube channels, as well as all of my socials if you are interested in any of that. And of course, I will see you guys tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. for the next daily vlog. And as always, phone hugs and bye-bye.